Okay, we need to now bring our minds back into focus. So start with getting your body in the right position for a comfortable meditation. So all the things we said before apply, except this time we're not doing shamatha. We're doing an analytical meditation. But we still need mindfulness and alertness. It's just that it's not holding on one single object, but we have a focus and we're staying focused on that. So alertness, noticing when your mind is wandering, still applies. And a sufficient level of attention or mindfulness is really right, that you're not so tensely focused, but a relaxed but definitely focused state of mind. So bring your awareness into the present. Things might occur to you that you need to attend to later, so you just note them and let them go, because you'll be able to do that later. But this is an opportunity to work on a very important and powerful practice of equanimity. Equanimity is the basis for developing bodhicitta. From equanimity we develop our love and compassion until the point at which we strongly set out along the path to enlightenment for the sake of others. So we need to recognize all beings as equal within this family of sentient beings. And this particular meditation is not working with the global, although, of course, it applies outwards. So we're starting with ourselves and our own discriminations that we make. And we're challenging these, because if we work at this in our own immediate setup, then we can extend and extend. So these divisions that we create between ourselves and others can dissolve. But we have to be honest and start where we are. Sometimes when we hear these ideas, we want to go just to the conclusion, but we have to start where we are. So I'm going to ask you to bring to mind 3 people. Somebody that you care about deeply and have an instinctive and natural warm feeling towards. Someone that you feel neutral towards. Probably you don't know them very well, and you just feel neutral. You don't particularly like or dislike, just neutral. And then someone who is a problem for you in some way. You find it being with them problematic, thinking about them problematic, or maybe there's been an incident. And we kind of going to loosely call them the enemy. Enemy is quite a heavy term. So it's a shorthand. Your feelings regarding them might be quite heavy, quite negative. Or they might be more like it's a difficulty, it's a frustration, it's an irritation. So you choose. I think it's quite helpful if we choose people that we feel personally that we can put in those categories. But we can use people we know, like on, like a politician or something like that. I think there's different levels on which you can do it, and you can choose. But I think there's some immediate benefit if you choose someone you know. So there are these three people. So first of all, think about the person that you feel warm, loving, caring about. Your heart goes out to them. It's not an effort. It's just a warm feeling that arises in connection to them. Just recognize that feeling. Maybe sometimes there are setbacks in this relationship, some difficulties, but it's fairly easy to restore the balance. The frustrations come and go more quickly. And this underlying warmth and care sustains the relationship. So notice your feeling towards them, and also how they, we can say, make you feel. Of course, no one else makes you feel anything, but in relation to them, how you feel, what you feel is as a result of their reactions to you. And you might notice different things that sustain this positive feeling you have for this person. And then turn your attention to the person with whom you have some difficulty. Just acknowledge it honestly to yourself, what that's about. Maybe the first thing that comes to mind is something they've done, or some attitude they have, or but also check your feelings, your feeling to them, and the feeling you have also. What feelings are you carrying inside in regard to them? You're doing this with a kind of stepping back and looking honestly, with a curiosity. Don't censor, don't stop yourself acknowledging how you feel. It's not about indulging in that feeling, but it is about recognizing what's there, what's pressing your buttons, we say in English. What are the factors that are really you're finding difficult? Sometimes as Buddhists we don't want to acknowledge this because we don't want to feel this way. We want to jump to the conclusion where we love everybody, but we have to go through the hard work to get there. So without judging yourself or the other person, but deconstruct a bit and find out what the feelings are, what the different thoughts and ideas that you've got about this person, what's driving it. And it's important not to blame the other. That's a tendency that we can locate the problem outside ourselves. So in this deconstruction, we're looking at what's happening in the relationship. There's no blame, either on yourself or the other. We're just looking, noticing, checking. And then turn your attention to someone neutral. Just think about, why have I chosen this person that's neutral? What makes them neutral to me? And now check all three. Bring all three back into mind. And we've labelled these people into three categories. Someone who we feel warm about, someone who we have a difficulty with, and someone we're quite neutral about. So sometimes when we label, we think the label belongs out there. We think that person is actually a warm person. That's actually a difficult person. But it doesn't work, does it? Not really. Have they always been warm every single time? Or has this person always been someone who you've had a difficulty with? Does the difficulty have a kind of echo from a previous relationship? Is there something that's kind of being pulled into this relationship of a difficulty that you might have had with other people? So could any part of it be a projection from your side? Well, as I said, the difficulty, this person doesn't come inherently with that label. That's not intrinsic. Maybe other people find them difficult, that's possible. But they're not, it's something you're finding. This is in relationship with you. So what's your part of this? Maybe there's certain prejudices you carry that are, just below the surface and not on the, they're not the first thing that you're thinking of, but it might be about certain power or gender or a certain attitude or belief that you struggle with. Or they belong to a certain group that you think is lesser than something you hold dear. Might be something from your own psychological background that you're bringing to play. But it's important to realize that these categories are not fixed. They're not definite. Maybe the person you feel so loving towards, maybe it was instant, but it might not have been, and it might change. Relationships go up and down, they're not stable. There's no inherently good person here and bad person there. This mixture. Different characteristics. And maybe the person that you find difficult is the person that somebody else highly regards. And of course, for the neutral person, neutral people are often the people that then later become our close friend or our difficult person. It's very fluid. So if we're going to transform our mind, it's very important to notice these distinctions we bring to things, our prejudices, our backlog of hurts and upsets and difficulties that we've had with people. And while practically not everybody is going to be close to us as our close friend or person we've chosen, we may not spend time, with the whole universe of people in the same way. But that's the kind of regard that we need to start working on. Not by being dishonest and saying, oh yes, of course I feel like that. I want to feel like that, so I do feel like that. But actually having a place in your heart for regarding everybody as equal. Equal of you in terms of your love and compassion, whether or not you have a personal relationship with them. We're all one family of beings wanting happiness and wanting to avoid suffering equally.